Hello, and welcome back to Music and Me 2023. If you're new here, my name's Jlee. Thank you so much for coming to watch my vlog today. Today we are talking about something that is crucial to music, and that is writing. The writing process, what writing means to me, and all of these glorious things. To all my writers out there, power on. This is something that we definitely should be teaching people, and I'll tell you the reasons why. For me, writing is healing. It helps as an outlet to communicate with others if you can't say the words. If you're anything like me, I struggle to find the right words in heated moments. So even though some might say I'm good at arguing, but I would like to say I'm really rubbish at arguing. I find it very difficult to find the right words to say under pressure. So writing is a very helpful tool of communication for me. Writing helps me to process my feelings. Sometimes writing it down and seeing it on paper makes those feelings more real so that I can actually deal with them. For example, if I was to write down, today was a really hard day, but I'm gonna be all right. So it's kind of like a conversation back to myself. So there are 4 main points that I wanted to talk about when it comes to writing, especially how I write. The first thing I wrote down here was, when did I start writing? So for those of you who do know my music, I write pretty much everything that I've sung. Writing is like one of my main things that I do besides actually singing. I started writing in my diary when I was a little girl. Whatever I thought about or how I was feeling at those times, I was able to write it down in my diary and lock it away. The next thing I would say would be, why do I write? I would like to say that writing was my voice. For me, not being able to say it out loud, I was able to put them on paper. When I'm writing, I can take the time to think about how I really feel. I can think about the right words that I want to say and how I want to use them. Then I can express it verbally, outwardly, after reflecting a little bit longer. And in the famous words of Hans Christian Andersen, when words fail, music speaks. Because sometimes you just can't say the right thing. And even though I'm writing it all down, sometimes you need to write it with music. Which brings me to my next point. And that is how I write. How do I write? There are 6 main ways that I write. That's a lot, but I'm going to go through them real quick. First of all, really simply, a tune in my head. I'm just going to use an example. So, this is Alicia Keys if you don't know. You don't know my name. So, easy as that. So if I have a tune in my head and I get stuck with it in my head, and then all of a sudden there's just lyrics that flow with that tune, there you have it, the first line of the song. The second one would be a one-liner. And this ties in with my third point, which is to have a track playing as well. But one line started the song, and that was, you have your dream. We were thinking about the Pacific Games and how our countrymen were about to embark on this amazing opportunity to run, to swim, to play, to represent our country. And that was the line, you have your dream. And then that goes into the other line. So you have your dream. That's all you see. And it just goes on from there. The third one is a music track. So this is so helpful. So if there's a live instrument or if there's already a track somebody made, it is so helpful to write this way. This is the quickest way for me to write because the lyrics just are able to flow out, and I miss writing this way, I have to say. I have been able to sit with a great guitarist before and they're like, Jamie, I have this tune. Can you write to this? And then they just start playing. And I tell you what, without fail, within a few seconds, I'm like, oh, I've got an idea. And then I just start writing. Together We Can was written this way as well. So Jagger had already created the music for this. And then he brought me into the studio and he said, I have this track. Can you write a song to this? And as soon as I heard it, those few words came to my mind, and then the rest is history. The fourth one is rare, and it is called Out of Nowhere. This has only happened to me one time that I can fully recall. I'm sure it's happened more, but the one time that I can recall for today's video is the very first time I wrote a worship song. I literally saw lyrics just flying across the sky Now, seriously, don't say I'm crazy. This is what happened to me. I thought it was someone else's song, because like what? And then I went back to the room and I continued to see these lyrics running through my mind. I don't know how to explain it to you guys. I started writing those lyrics down, and it turned out I had never heard this song before, and it was my song. Yes, I still remember it, and no, I have not recorded it. Now, the fifth one is also one of my most favorite ways to write a song, and that is by being inspired by someone's story, whether it is my own or it's a friend's. Knowing them well, or at least knowing their story and how they met, helps me a lot in writing a song for someone. Or for example, there's a political thing that's happening in the world, or even just a humane thing that's happening that I can't do anything about, then I'll write. And the example I have for you guys is the song that I wrote called We Cry. Some really horrific things happened back in Papua New Guinea, based around gender-based violence, witchcraft, and something terrible happened, and I felt completely helpless. So I was able to write this song out of that pain. And lastly, but not the least, collaboration. Collaboration is an excellent way to write a song, and it's fun, and you never know what you're gonna get, honestly. Sometimes you can have a lyric and you want to bring it to someone and they'll help write a hook or verse, or they have something to give to you and then you add to it, or you both sit down together and you go, you know what, let's write about the way summer feels, let's write about marriage, let's write about love, and you create together, and it's the most beautiful thing. I hope that helps you guys. If you ever want help writing, please, please, please get in touch with me. I absolutely love helping people when it comes to that. And I'm starting a Patreon as well, and that's going to be exclusive writing sessions with me. But I'm going to end it there, guys. Thank you so much for watching again. And if you're new to my channel, please click the subscribe button, thumbs up, and share. I'd really love to get these stories out there. I know there are a lot of people who need help with writing or who are curious. So thank you so much again, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.